All right, we're live. Hey everyone, welcome to Entrepreneurs Roundtable, our special, and it begins. Our special guest edition where we've got a couple guests on, and I'll go ahead and let them jump in and introduce themselves here in just a second. But first, if you're not part of, as always, if you're not part of our actual group on Facebook, go to Facebook, search Entrepreneurs, one word, Roundtable, one word, and join the group because you're only getting one piece of the paleo pie. If you don't join the group, you gotta get the other pieces. So, all right, that's a joke from last week. So go watch last week's episode. Let's jump right in. Let's do ladies first. Sarah, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah and I'm a digital strategist, and we're talking Periscope today, so been on there for a couple of weeks, but I'll say no more, and I'll let Jay take the floor.
Cool, thanks Sarah. Nice to meet you, by the way.
Thank you.
My name is Jay Noggle, jnoggle.com. That's enough self-promotion for now. I am kind of a digital media and entrepreneurial tinkerer. In other words, I will play with stuff, tweak it, all kinds of crazy stuff. So I discovered Periscope, and I'm playing with it right now. So there you go.
Really quick, and then I have a funny, not really funny story, but what is everyone's handle for Periscope so that if they want to go follow all of us? And then really quick, what do you talk about primarily on Periscope? Because I guess you could be a digital business person, but then talk about like something separately. So give a quick Periscope plug.
Okay,
Go ahead,
so
Sarah.
my handle on Twitter and Periscope is at @the_Sarah_more. And I mainly talk about business tips and different parts of digital strategy, and I've also done a couple of times, I've done a few techie kind of walkthroughs, and they've gone really, really well. People love those, so that they know how to use different online platforms and things themselves, so I do that at times as well.
Cool. Jay?
Nice. Just at jnoggle, both Twitter and Periscope. And I've only actually done a few scopes. I've been studying the behind the scenes, and we can get into that more later, but it's based off of another very similar app that I started playing with over a year ago. It didn't make it. So, does that make sense?
Yes. Mike. Did we lose Mike?
He's locked up.
Okay, well, I'll go then. Hopefully we get him back. So, there he is.
Yep.
I am, I can't remember. I think I'm Jared Elrod. I may be Jared in Elrod, both Twitter and Periscope. And I'm still trying to find my voice on there. So when it first came out, it's funny, I remember when it first came out, I like jumped on it and I wanted to get on it right away. And I was periscoping, and then I kind of was like, oh, I don't really know what I want to say anymore. But I shared it with our group, and that's I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Sarah, but I believe that's when you heard about it, you jumped on it, and then now you're like, I look to you for like as a good example of what it to be. You just took it and ran with it, and so that's like, we gotta have her on for sure.
Yeah.
And then Mike, your Periscope handle, and then kind of what you talk about on there, or if you do.
Yeah, mine's Paleo Riot, so PALEORIOT, and we said Twitter. My Twitter handle is also Paleo Riot. I think it's either that or Paleo Riot NJ. No, Paleo Riot NJ is the YouTube. So yeah, Paleo Riot for both. And I'm actually going to log in and play Periscope at some point.
Cool.
Nice.
And I just double-checked mine. It's just Jared Elrod, JaredElrod, both Twitter and Periscope. So, okay, so let's get started. So as I already kind of said, I jumped on it right away. I saw Kimmerl Luna doing it. She's the first person I saw using it, and her stuff was awesome. And so I started using it, but then I kind of like backed off, and then I was like, oh, well, I don't really know. And then I kind of overanalyzed it. And then in the last few weeks, I was like, that was really dumb. Like, and now I'm seeing more and more people jump on it. Like, I just got friends that just start following Grant Cardone, and I was like, this is such an awesome thing. I need to jump back into it. And then, so I was like, you know what, let's have a conversation out of it. So I guess the first thing, to open this up is, how did you decide what you're going to talk about? And then I know, Jay, you're doing some testing, so it'll be interesting to hear what you think. And then, like, how did you just kind of find your voice? Because I know from when I'm watching Periscope's a lot more casual than even like, you grab a cell phone and you record like a casual video to post to like YouTube or Facebook. Periscope's like a whole nother level. Like, for an example, just today I saw Grant Cardone periscoping a coaching call he was doing, and he's eating a salad. He's like talking with his mouth full. Yeah, man. Hey, so what's your family? Okay, what situation? He's just like shoveling salad. And the other day I saw Kimra, hers was set up on a little tripod, and she was doing her makeup, and she's getting ready to do a webinar for her company, and she's like seriously off, and she's like doing her makeup, and she's pulling her eye down, doing her eyeliner, and she's like looking and answering questions, and I was like, okay, I consider myself pretty open, but like that's the level of transparency that might even make me uncomfortable with it, but it seems like that's where it's going. So what are you guys' thoughts on that, both the voice and then just the style of the whole thing?
Take the floor, Jay.
It's very, very voyeuristic. I mean, the whole live streaming thing is extremely voyeuristic. And to me, I'm coming about social media in general from my experience and background in marketing, which started in 2000 in local TV sales. And I learned very quickly that the downfall with that whole old school process, broadcast, radio, television, newspaper, where you've got to pay for a monthly schedule and you've got your copy or your spot out there, it's all monologue. It's not dialogue, it's all monologue. It's like you can't, rap on the TV and talk back to the commercial. It doesn't work that way. So it was all very, very, here's my name, here's my product, here's my phone number, here's my price, call me kind of a thing, right? Where social is the exact opposite. It's all dialogue, although people are still using social as a monologue, which freaks me out because it's so stupid, but that's a different topic. So I'm very, very into the idea of dialogue, and that's why I jumped into this whole live streaming thing. I mentioned a different app about a year ago, which was called, or is called, Yevo, which was founded out of Tel Aviv, Israel, and it just didn't gain the ground. So the cool thing with Periscope is the fact that you can be doing something, get the comments in either comments or questions, and then react, and then also react off of the hearts, which kind of navigate the conversation. So that's my whole thing with the whole process. Is it's the closest thing we have to one-to-many, two-way complete dialogue structure, and I think it's just cool.
Just real fast. I just want to point out, I have it on right now where I've got you and this going, Periscope going. So I kind of as you're talking, all these things are actually happening. Yeah.
I actually have a question about
like,
hearts I want to come back to.
But it's that whole monologue. It's behind the scenes because everyone's I had it on, I just put it on, and they can't communicate back and forth. And I wanted to say to them oh, I'm actually doing this. So I'm literally, there's 6 people on this thing, and
I think
it's it's a behind the scenes though, so you could literally see what my surrounding looks like that no one else can see. It's like the fourth fucking dimension or something. I don't know what this is.
It's very weird. Meta, yeah. It's like I'm looking at you here, and I'm looking at you here.
Yeah, it's weird, man. Someone's saying, and I like the fact that they can communicate. So someone's like, yo. It's yo, ask a question. Cyberhost 85 or something. So maybe I just gave them a plug. But it's crazy. So I guess all 4 of us now are doing this. Hi, Sexy. Thanks, Ed. So I'm communicating with Jared through here and on my phone. And people are just sitting here just giving it hearts left and right, which, again, Jay, what do the hearts do?
The hearts are like instantaneous feedback. In other words, they're designed for the user to be able to give the broadcaster instant feedback of, yes, we like what you're talking about and the direction you're going, or no, we don't. So the more hearts, that's what it was designed for. To become a popularity contest.
I have 2 questions about hearts. Actually.
Yeah.
So I've searched these online, and I know when I first got on, it had only been a month and a half old, so there wasn't a lot online. So maybe it's on there now. But maybe you can both answer whatever. As far as the hearts go, first off, one is I understand what you just said, and that makes perfect sense. Does it help rankings of your periscopes to be seen?
Yes.
Is my first question. It does. Okay.
Yeah. That's what I heard.
My second question is, as a viewer, so let's say I'm watching Mike right now, and I don't care with Mike because I know I know Mike, but is it weird if you sit there, No, I mean like he's not going to be creeped out, like because you mentioned the voyeuristic thing. Is it weird to like just consistently just tap the hearts to help them, or does it look stalkerish? Like, who is this Jared guy, and why do I have 863 hearts from him?
I think it depends.
Sarah, what do you think?
I think, yeah.
Um, I have a few thoughts on the hearts. I think at the moment they're I'll answer what you asked first. So, um, oh gosh, that's bright. Sun's
Giving-
reflecting. Um, so, I've forgotten the question. What was the question? Oh,
The hearts,
voyeuristic.
is it
Is it
voyeuristic?
weird?
Oh.
Like I'm sitting here just
yeah.
giving him hearts, like right now, like I'm just giving him. So if he looks at it later, he can see, oh, Jared gave you 1,200 hearts, and like everyone else gave you like 30 or something. Does that make
Yeah,
me weird or a creeper?
No, because you won't be the only one who's done it. Oftentimes, when the hearts are going on the screen, it actually compels other people to do the same thing. So it kind of creates like this weird heart momentum, which I feel even weird saying that. But I think hearts, I still think, although they give you some kind of ranking, they're still fairly arbitrary at the moment because you can buy them on the
What?
black internet market. Yeah, you can buy hearts.
on Fiverr.
People,
Oh
people,
my
yeah,
god.
you
Right.
can go into Fiverr and get people to go onto your scopes and give you heaps of hearts.
Well, it didn't take
You
long
can
for Fiverr to
also-
screw that up.
Show
you
slide.
can
Yeah.
also,
And so I've got the headset on.
I can't see how it can't be
Take the headset
stuffed
off.
up because people are surely like there's been nothing stopping me having my husband here just sitting me giving me like 50,000 hearts every time I scope in the replay. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
to me, it's quite arbitrary. And the other thing is, there are people who've been on here since the start. They've amassed huge followings, and they have like 60 billion hearts. So in terms of a ranking, yeah, it might rank you, but you're never going to get on that list. And as well as that, Kimra made a really good point in that makeup scope the other day, Jared, because I watched that as well. I don't watch many of hers anymore, to be fair, because they're often long. But I did watch that one, and she made a really good point. That was her rant, wasn't it? And that was her rant one. And she was talking about how there's just like a lot of frauds on Periscope at the moment, and she said make sure that you Google everybody that you come across. You make sure that they have social media elsewhere, and just basically whatever they're spouting on Periscope, they can actually back up elsewhere. And I totally rated that conversation, totally, because I would agree with the same. People recommend the craziest people, and I go on. Their scopes are boring, long. They have nothing to do with anything. They recommend things like follow for follow, which is like
Well, that's
the
like
dumbest
Instagram
strategy in the
too.
world.
If you see people on Instagram, it's like they'll comment, "Follow me, follow me, follow me," and you're like, "Jesus, shut up," and they just jump in there. So I mean, I guess there's always that trolling that always exists on any platform. Like, so people will quickly find out how it's going to help them, but then if you follow them, I'm always confused on what value are you giving to anybody by them following you? Like, I don't get it.
Well, I think two things happen. Yeah. So I think a lot of people who are starting out on a platform get caught up in that because um, it instantly gives them kind of credibility and social proof. So if I'm starting out as a business coach and I can show you that I've already got 10,000 likes on there, you're more inclined to believe what I say, and what I say has more weight because I have 10,000 people following me. Whereas that's not actually the case. Actually, I didn't have 2 points. I only had 1 point, and that was social proof. So take it away, Jay.
Well, Jay's got 2 points, so let's give it to him.
Please no. Oh, that'd be awkward. I hadn't thought of that yet. Like live streaming. Yeah.
I think, yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think there's two reasons. Well, think about why you watch it. So Grant Cardone's perfect because he's both. He is
Oh,
entertaining
yeah.
and he's also giving value, right?
Yeah.
So he's got both. He's got both, and It's funny. I was literally on my phone a couple weeks ago. I was walking around Santa Monica to the beach. I was listening to the 10x rule, and he's on the part where he talks about domination, and that's his biggest thing. He's like, I don't want to have He's like, competition doesn't exist. I just want to dominate the market. And as I'm walking, he's saying this. My phone goes off. Grant Cardone's doing this. Next thing, Grant Cardone wants you to follow this. He's like, so anything he steps into, he just like dominates the shit out of. And he was doing that with Periscope. So and it's not. I'll like rarely watch it, but sometimes.
Do we lose him?
See you, Mike.
Okay, sorry, I think I just paused. Did I just freeze? Okay, so I just checked in the other day when I was cooking, and he was giving some advice. He was going to go talk to a billionaire. So I just jumped in and I'm like, oh, I want to see this. He's like, what questions would you ask a billionaire? So that gained my interest. But as he's driving, his passenger in the back had him pull over because they had to throw up. So then he's on his phone like, holy shit, I can't believe this just happened. I'm embarrassing the hell out of her, and she's throwing up right now. And everyone in the car is like laughing, and he's like, well, I was going to go talk to a billionaire, but this just happened out of nowhere. So that makes me believe that I think that Periscope is going to probably document some really random shit that's going to be like, because you can always videotape something and then it's your time to upload it, but now it's live. So someone could be somewhere and an earthquake could happen, you know, and or like someone could come in and like a shooting could happen. Like I think like it sounds really negative, but that opens that door to having that stuff happen. Someone could be doing it and like turn their phone and like a bomb could go off. You know, it's like crazy things like that. So it's like that real time thing is kind of nuts to me.
Like with live journalism, you know. But the other thing too, though, is the whole idea of like things that are valuable, but necessarily wouldn't be professional or enough to get like on a YouTube channel or go on an email blast. Like Cardone, you know, recording. I just watched this morning him recording the conversation on the on the phone. Like chances are he's probably not going to record a bunch of like those. Like he's done some, but they're few and far between. Versus Periscope, you can just grab it out. It's casual. You don't have to think about it. And then it's the behind the scenes stuff. Like with Kimra, like she ends up talking. Someone goes, hey, you know, I heard you're a vegan, and she starts talking about that, and she like walked over to her fridge, showed her fridge, or her kid crawls up in her lap, and someone asks her about her parenting, and people start liking that, and so she starts talking about that, and that's interesting that like she never would have like scripted out like, okay, in this video I'm going to start off with some business advice, then I'm going to talk about like how I hire someone to make me my vegan meal prep, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about parenting, then I'm going to jump back into business stuff, but because the fluidity of it and how easy it is, she's able to do that. But Sarah, you mentioned something interesting about Kimra. You made a couple comments that you don't listen to her as much because she's long. What is like the appropriate length? Because hers are longer. Grant's, from what I've seen, I just started following him, have been longer. What's an appropriate? They say YouTube is supposed to be less than 3 minutes. I just assumed that Periscope was longer because every time I get on one, it's either a business person talking for a long time or it's like a drunk person like recording people dancing for a long time.
Yeah. So, I mean, when I first started on Periscope, I got really hung up on length. Like I would do longer ones, and then I had a lot of friends hopping on it who hated that, and that really got in my head, and I got so paranoid, and I would get on, I would just try and do them really fast, and I would talk really fast and stuff. But then I kind of have just sort of set into my own kind of thing, and I've realized that there is no right and wrong. I just want to preface what I'm going to say with the fact that Australia has the crappiest internet on the face of the earth, besides those who don't have internet at all. So
I've heard that.
So our internet's slow and buggy and stuff like that, and and it's really, really expensive. So if I drop out of Wi-Fi and go into 4G, it's like freaking so expensive when you go over the limit on your plan. So I just wanted to say that factors in for me, and say it probably factors in for a lot of Australians.
So we won't have a lot of live periscoping from Australia, basically.
Yeah, well, there's hardly ever anyone on Australia periscoping, to be fair. I mean, our population's smaller, so just by fact of that, of course that's going to happen, but I hardly ever see anyone periscope from Australia. There's a few key people. But the other thing I wanted to say was that while I may not watch a lot of Kimra's anymore, there's a couple of reasons. One is the time of day, because she's American.
Yeah.
And so the time of day for me is not always appropriate because I too have a child. And while I can put it on and do other things, and this is changing the topic, but I just don't want to be a passive parent and just have crap going all the time in the background, like business and I want to be present with my child. So I have to have a point where I turn off. So what I should have said, Jared, is more that I'm less inclined to watch Kimra's replays. So if she's on, sometimes she does a late night scope, which for me is like 10 o'clock here or around that time, and everyone in my house has gone to bed, and I'm up by myself working or just chilling. So I'll put her on then, and I'll interact then. And I appreciate the longer scope in that I might not be able to jump on it straight away, but she's still on 30 minutes later, and I can jump on. And I can tell you for a fact that when you do a longer scope, so when I've done a really long scope, my stats go through the roof. My retention's normally longer. Obviously, there's more hearts. You get really good interaction with people. I can't speak so much for the replay. I don't really notice that, and you can't tell in a replay if someone jumps on and jumps straight off anyway once they realize it's so super long. So yeah, I'm less inclined to watch a replay if I can see that it's like an hour long. No.
Do you think people should? So I guess I'll throw this one at Jay. Do you think that there should be a theme to what you're saying, like a consistent theme? Or do you think that a lot of people right now are just testing the waters to see when not more about the length? I think I agree with Sarah. I think the length works great because I was thinking the same thing. If someone's on, and also there's also that lag time where you can't even get into the conversation. So maybe 10 minutes later you can, but do you think that if you're starting doing this, you should have a really good theme, but if it doesn't work, be like, oh, well, I shouldn't Periscope anymore, or should you be like, I'm just going to try these different things until I see where I get a lot of hits?
Yeah.
It's like trickery.
I did a scope on that earlier on, actually, because I was watching a lot of people in that business coaching field. I had a number of people come on and they would do really, really long scopes, and I remember doing a scope because it actually infuriated me because they're in this space where people look up to them as a mentor and a coach, and my scope was all about respecting and valuing your followers' time and having almost like a duty of care and a responsibility towards them to not always be on and in front of them, but to be mindful of the fact that they need to be actioning. An entrepreneur's biggest problem is not that they don't know enough.
Yeah,
Don't get on there and give them more crap to think about. get on there and say, get off your butt and do the work. Like, you know,
Yeah.
so it's just, that was something that I scoped about because I was really passionate about people having their time wasted.
With that, so, and I want to hear.
Yeah.
So I'd like to hear from both of you, and even Mike's take. Like, as far as, so you're talking about, you know, that how you came up with that idea, right? What's the best way to come up with the topics? I mean, do you feel like Periscope is best for answering questions you're hearing, you know, through emails, through your Facebook group? Is it best to get on and do more of the lecture, like kind of like you just said not to? So, but you know what I mean, like as examples. So, like, what's the best way to come up with content in your opinion? And is there kind of a best practices, or is this literally just a, well, it's different for everyone, or kind of what are you guys' takes on that?
Let's throw that at Jay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As long as you are, yeah.
Except that one. Just kidding.
And Mike's not part of that one anymore.
No, I'm kidding. Come on. Yeah. Wow. So in what so what would that fall under? So that would be, because Jared, you kind of cut these up into, like, you know, is it about, like, Jared, how'd you word it?
Yeah, just how, basically the concept of how to find your own voice. So like that was a genius interpretation of how someone there should do it. But like, so maybe someone else is watching and goes, "Oh, okay, that's cool. Like if I was a real estate agent, yeah, I should totally do that. But I do this, and so how should I use it so that I'm not, you know, I don't know, just get on there talking. Everyone's getting on and talking about marketing. Like finding your voice to specifically showcase what you do, and then because of that, get a following and get leads off of it."
Well, I think that Jay had a good point because he was like, again, in any business aspect, it's you can give everyone, there's so many tools out there and there's so much information, as Sarah pointed out, and I think that it comes down to what your specific problem is that you need help with. So he could have said, the houses sell, but no one likes me or no one trusts me. So maybe it's the guy flips it on himself and he gets like a day in the life of, like, and he's just like, hey, this is me, Bob Stevens or whatever, like I'm doing this, or oh, here's my kids, or he makes it more personable. So now people are kind of like, oh, yeah. So it really comes down to exactly what you said, Jay. It's like, it's a tool, but you have to really relate it to how it helps you specifically. So if other people, so you have to see, in anything you do in marketing, you have to see where you're having the problem, and then like, how can this thing solve that? Or if it can, and if not, then like, don't use it. Not everyone needs to have Periscope. Not everyone needs to have Twitter. Not everyone needs to have Instagram. And everyone's like, I need all of these. It's like, no, you just need the one. So, yeah.
Word
up. Sorry, you don't have to answer. I think I just figured it all out. So we don't need.
Yeah,
to.
I think Mike just solved it, right?
I just do want to say this on Finding Your Voice. Like, I just scoped heaps when I jumped on. That's what I did. Like I mentioned before that I was like, how long do I go for? I don't know. Does anyone want to hear me talk for ages? And I just did heaps of scopes. While you're kind of following a small and you kind of have that play, just find your own voice. Like, it's just about doing it over and over and over again and starting to hear your own repetition, your own themes, and going, I really enjoy this. I get really good response from this. Maybe if I throw some call to actions out, whatever they are, maybe if I ask people to do things, am I getting response back on Twitter? Am I getting people join my Facebook group? Am I getting email signups? Like, all of these things so can help you figure out your voice and what people resonate with you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And on that real quick, and then, I mean, Jay, you can jump on this too, but I was specifically ask Sarah, then we'll open it up for whoever. Because I've noticed with you, you've talked a few times, and I've seen you post because we're friends on Facebook about, like, getting leads, and you're like, if you're on Periscope, you should, and about how you're, like, getting leads. So Periscope, it's very personable, where I can just pick it up, and I did one right before this and showed, because I'm at my parents' house, and so, like, I created this, like, ghetto studio rig, and I've got all this stuff on boxes, and it's, like, this kind of looks normal just looking up at me, but everything around my computer is just really funny and comical, and I'll post pictures afterwards of how I got this all to kind of work while I'm up here. And so it's that kind of stuff I see a lot, and it's cool, like how I do this or whatever. How do you translate, because you've talked about how you've gotten leads off of it, from, hey, here's a really casual thing behind the scenes, this isn't a webinar, this isn't an email blast, sorry, Jay. This isn't something formal. This is this is just like, hey, I picked up my phone and I'm showing something behind the scenes. Oh, but now I want to translate into, like, by the way, here's my call to action, or here's, like, what is that? Are there any no-nos for that? Is there a better way? Or, like, what are you finding results with? And then, of course, everyone feel free to, like, kind of throw in your 2 cents as well, because that is interesting to me. Like, I don't want to jump back in, do really good Periscopes, but then screw it up by having, like, 2 formal call to actions at the end. But then I don't want to waste the opportunity if I'm growing a Periscope following. Like, why did you just spend a year not putting in call to actions? You could have grown your list, or you could have grown whatever. So, like, let's open that up for conversation.
Yeah. So I think that obviously it's from the perspective that you're coming from. So for me, it's like a digital marketing kind of perspective. So it makes sense that I would have a specific call to action. So one of the things that I've talked about a number of times on Scopes, and it's funny, I've done it, but I never drive people to this because I'll tell you why in a sec. So I tell people to create specific landing pages for specific social media so that they can monitor which social media platform is actually driving results for them. So having a different sign up or whatever on each landing page. And it's funny because I created one for myself for Periscope, but I actually don't use it because people go to my website anyway, and I have like a beautiful opt-in on my homepage. So many people think it's a gated homepage. They're like, how do I get past it? I'm like, there is a menu at the top. But that's worked so well for me that I haven't actually worried about creating like a customized bit.ly link or themoreacademy.com/, whatever, because at the moment I'm just finding that I don't need it. Now, if I come out with something specific to Periscope, like a program or a like coaching or something, I'm probably not, but I'm just using it as an example. I might then do it that way so I know the people who've come from Periscope. I don't think that there's any hard and fast rules about call to actions, how many you give, what you do. I think it's like anything else. Like if I have a conversation with you and I'm like, and I sell Tupperware. Do you guys have Tupperware? Tupperware?
Yeah.
We did in the 80s.
Yeah, you can buy it in the grocery store now.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Sold
you can buy
out.
like Ziploc. That's how we do things here in America, Sarah.
Yeah. So, but if I come to you and you know that that's what I sell, that's my product, and like every 5 minutes I'm like, hey, Mike, buy my stuff. Hey, Mike, buy my stuff. Hey, Mike, do this, do that. Like it's not a dialogue, as Jay was talking about. It becomes a broadcast again. And so, again, while I think there's no hard and fast rules, I think we have to remember that it is social media. It does have that casual, raw, unedited element. And I think to try and contrive it every single time, I think it can do more harm than good. But in saying that, like I can't sit here and go, this is what contrived fully means. I forget to give people call to actions because I've had such a good dialogue. I don't have coffee with my friends and give them a call to action at the end, and that's how it feels. Like I have this awesome scope and I feel so high and buzzed, and I never think to say go to my website and sign up for my list building thing, so.
And if they want that,
I mean,
it's really easy to like go to Facebook or go to Google and actually search Sarah Moore and then find you. Like if I got so into what you're talking about in the strategy, and you're like, oh, she gave no call to action, therefore I can never figure out who she is. Well, it's like you already have her Twitter handle, and you can do some basic searches and find them. So there's always that if you want to go that route.
Yeah, and I wanted to. Can I say one more thing about Periscope/Twitter?
One more, then you're done.
She wants to give her call to action right now. She's like, go buy from me.
Yeah, everyone. No, I wanted to say one of the things I love about Periscope and Twitter, and I was actually thinking about this in relation to your very first question at the start of the show, Jared, but I find with Twitter it's far more easier to reach a person directly than any other platform, and it's the same even more so with Periscope, and that's why they lend themselves so well together. And so further to what you were saying, Jared, if someone loves what I do and loves my message and what I say, they're going to stalk me down on social media. You guys do it. Everyone does it. If you love someone, you find where they are and you go there. And so I'm probably less worried about call to actions just for that reason.
True. Most people are professional Facebook stalkers, so they can find you.
Yeah, that's right.
Does anyone else do that when you get like a business connection, you find them on Facebook right away, and you're like, should I friend them? Is it weird and creepy that they know I just did that?
Yeah.
I don't do that. Yeah, exactly.
And if they friend you first, it's like, oh, okay, what a relief. I'll just accept it. So we're on the same track.
Yeah. If it's a business connection, though, I never want them to see the stuff I write because I'm just like constantly brutal.
It's funny last week because I went and friended Gideon, and then I watched the Entrepreneurs Roundtable after, and the first thing he said was just it was just him and Jared, and the first thing it was like, I hate it when people friend me, and they don't say and I'm like, why did you friend me? We're not friends. And I was like, Gideon, I'm so sorry I friended you. I won't be offended if you don't add me.
Gideon's actually...
And he was like super cool about it.
Comes off on those. Like I almost feel like he's trying to be like, I don't know. Sometimes he says things that's like, no, he actually is a really awesome guy. He just must, I don't know.
Oh, Gideon. Jay, what was your take on that? Unless Sarah did it, we could throw a different question at you. Oh, by the way, I got it just real quick. I got a message from Jay in the group, and he said he was having a hard time hearing Jay speak. Did anyone else get a message about this? Because I want to just address
Different
that.
Jay, yeah. Yeah, we hear
I hear
you
you
fine.
fine. Yeah. So I just
Yeah.
want to know. Yeah. I'll just text in. Can you hear Jay? But I'm sorry. Go on. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Day late, dollar short. Yeah. And that's what I said, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we talked about that last week about the strong lift guy, about how it was like, where's your opt-in, Mike?
Yeah.
Tell me, where's his opt-in? So yeah, we
Yeah.
talked about that quite a bit last week. But kind of to combine those two, like what Sarah mentioned about the random, not that Gideon was Gideon, but like the whole like just Facebook
You're
friending
friends
people.
now. Your friend
Yeah.
Gideon.
Yeah.
And then it's block you? No. And then what Jay was saying about like the whole digital handshake. Um, this great guy, I love this guy, Tony Cates. He actually has this really interesting take that at first when he said it, I was like, oh, I wonder if that would be good or if that would be kind of creepy, but it's working really well for him. So anytime someone like accepts his friend request, he grabs his cell phone, notification, oh, Jared accepted me as a friend. He hits record, records like a 30-second, hey, so thank you so much, blah, blah, blah. Here's a half second of what I do. I saw your thing. That's awesome. Maybe if there's any way we can connect in the future, whatever. But just thank you so much for accepting me as a friend. Look forward to the friendship. And he's had amazing results of people like messaging him back, going, I've never had anyone do that before. Tell me more about you. Oh, I looked you up because of that, and your stuff's really cool. Let's talk. And he's like you said, it was like that digital handshake as a fix to like that Gideon's problem of like, who are you and why are you bothering me right now? I don't know you. And so I wanted to throw that in there. Really quick.
Tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So using that to segue here, what is the thing that drives you crazy when you see other people do in Periscopes? Anyone, go first.
Oh man, I have a long list. Um, I hate it when people fish for hearts. I hate it when people fish for time. I hate it when freaking people get on there and they're like, I'm going to give you biz tips, and they pull out their harmonica and they play and sing. I won't say who did that, but that happened. I hate it when
Wait, no, say who did it. Let's call them out. Let's tweet them right now.
Yeah, Chris Tucker. There you go. And Yeah, yeah.
Who is
Anyway,
this? Wait,
he's,
let's say this for a second.
Chris Tucker,
What?
he's huge. Yeah, he's the virtual assistant guy.
You're failing,
yeah,
Chris
but
Tucker.
hey, don't waste my time by playing the friggin' harmonica, please.
That's
And
when
then
I
make
think
your
that's where I think the problem. I just want to segue. The problem there is that the celebrityism or being the celebrity status shit goes to their head and goes okay.
yeah.
That was a
So,
good one.
and I think a lot of
we could do a whole other Google Hangout on how much I hate on Periscope. Anyway.
but that's the thing is that these people, I think a lot of people want to get really big because they want to be a celebrity. They want that status, and they want just everything they say to be taken as, because there's this tipping point where people get where they say so much stuff, they have so many people following them that they say anything, everyone floods to them because they're like, holy shit, this person's talking right now, and so if this guy's pulling out a harmonica, I'm sure it was just like a whatever move, but he might have just kind of got this like ego thing going on where like anyone's gonna follow me, I'm just gonna play some harmonica now, and
Yeah.
I do love John Mayer, by the way.
Me too.
But that's related to what he does, though.
I was going to say the difference is that he's not like
Yeah.
interrupting himself with business tips.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm going with that?
Let me play a song, but then I'm going to tell you how to start a business in between my playing a song. That would be the opposite, but still just as weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And people want to see the behind the scenes. That's why I think Periscope beyond the tips and all that stuff. I think this behind the scenes is the third wall. That's why people love Twitter. That's why I love Instagram, because they follow celebrities or people that they like, because they see what it's like that they're normal people. And I think people really like to see that. And the Periscope is just basically creating just that one more layer where you're literally in their home talking to them, but it's also very, what's the word? It's like the cat with a string. It's like it's just giving you enough where like you can't, even if you talk to them, like they could choose not to. They could just choose to ignore you. Like if the four of us are in a room and Jay is talking to me and I'm just talking, like I choose not to answer that question right now. Like it's just fucking rude. But you could get away with it on Periscope
just
because
pretend like you didn't see it.
right, and it also gives you that God complex because you have the ability. Everyone's asking you a question. You have that ability to deny any answers. Yeah. So maybe that's a key point to take. Yeah. So maybe that's the takeaway.
That is good right there.
Yeah. So you are
Can I-
almost. Yeah. I like that.
If you're taking notes, write that one down.
Can I say though, I'm just going to play the devil's advocate for a second.
Here
when
we
you
go.
were trying to get when you hey, I'm in Australia, you can't do anything to me. When you're on a scope and you're trying to get something across, and two things. First of all, the camera's up here, so if you want to look like you're looking in people's eyes, you need to look at the camera. It's really hard to follow the comments. Second to that, if I'm trying to get a point out and it's either complex or it just needs me to keep focus, because I'm really bad. If I'm like, hey squirrel, I won't remember what I was talking about. So so for me to finish my sentence almost, I'm not trying to ignore people. I'm trying to, for the people that are listening and who came on to hear me, which sounds so conceited, but anyway, for those people who came on to hear me, I want to finish my point so as not to frustrate them. There's nothing more frustrating than someone on there who just cannot make it through a sentence because they keep answering things or interrupting themselves because they're reading all the comments. So
Yeah.
while I completely agree that it should be customer follower driven, whatever you want to call it, I still think sometimes you need to be a little bit authoritative in the way that you frame it and carry it, because people will get frustrated when you can't ever finish a thought. And I imagine it's far worse for bigger people. Like I've like nearly 500 followers, so who cares? But you know, for someone who's got 30,000, it must just be.
Wait, you have 500 followers?
Nearly.
Yeah, she's on there like she's on like twice a day. That's what like why she was the first person I thought. Like almost every night, because I don't go to bed till like like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and I'll lay down and right before I fall asleep, I'll hear Periscope, and it's her.
Hey, real quick, I just got a couple people letting me know that Jay, like your audio isn't working. Can you log out and log back in just to see if we could fix that? All right, yeah, because I had a couple people now. And Sarah, you've got your friend Stephanie Bynum, or she's a follower of yours. She just said that she tweeted. Yeah, she just tweeted me and said that they can't hear Jay.
Oh, okay.
And while you're making announcements, we've got. If anyone,
what are your 500 followers, Sarah?
We do have the Q&A open right now. Jeez, Mike, let me say something. I'm just kidding. We do have the Q&A open if anyone wants to ask questions there as well. Like I've been getting people message me questions and whatnot. That's why I keep looking over to my phone. But if anyone wants to like make it a little more formal here in the group, and then I think any of us can see it if we open it. I've seen some Twitter stuff and some Facebook message stuff of questions, but we do have. I know we never have 9 episodes and we've never had the Q&A working, but it's working today, so you can actually, I guess it's a good example of where. It's a good example of what we talked about before. Like we didn't have the Q&A where it's easy, so people were like Facebooking and Twittering us, like trying to ask questions and make comments. So I guess we're kind of somewhere on that level of producing something cool. So, anyways,
let's just have a really big lull where we don't say anything for like 5 minutes and just really make it awkward for people. Like Sarah.
Let's let Jay. Did you answer your question? I feel like Gideon's here. He's not here, but I swear he is.
He's here in spirit through my hands. Sorry. Jay. Yeah. All right, Jay, do me a favor. Start talking, and let me ask some people if they can hear you.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so I'm talking about Periscope today, and we are trying to get an audio.
Why don't you answer that question? Answer that question about like what drives you crazy when you see people do on Periscope, and then he can kind of get a response off of you answering that.
I guess really, I don't really have much of an answer to that, other than one of the biggest things is people trying to game the system. Just get on there and do your thing, be yourself, listen, watch the hearts, and if you're not getting any, and you know that your audience is there, and you know that they know what they're for, and you're not getting any hearts, maybe you should move into a different subject. It's like the case in point of the gal, with the kid up in her lap, and she starts talking about parenting, and I mean, the problem with Periscope, but the beauty of Periscope at the same time is it's this paradox of a rabbit trail, right? I mean, it can be nothing and it can be everything. It can be an amazing takeaway. It can be total empty fluff bullshit, or a combination, of both.
I think there's a mix though, because in that sense, even though Kimra wasn't giving the content she was supposed to, it's also building that familiarity with her audience. So her audience actually gets to know her a bit more, and I think that's creating that they want to.
It's a rapport.
Yeah, exactly. Like they want to know someone. They don't want to just see an image that's plastered everywhere. They want to actually get to know the person's, hear them laugh, see them be with their kids and things like that. And like that, there's a balance there. I think that works pretty well.
Absolutely. Any feedback as to my audio so far?
Yes, he can hear you. Awesome.
Is it working? Oh.
So
weird.
We have to have you go back and say every single thing you said in the last hour, Jay. So could you start from the beginning, please?
And it should be fun the replay because we all heard you. So it's just
right. Yeah, this is our call to action to get people to watch the replay. That was
there you
our
go.
tactic.
They fell for our scheme.
That's it. Yep. The old no audio trick. It works every time. Crickets. There you go.
Okay, next question. Unless someone else wants, Mike, do you want to say anything about like something that drives you crazy on Periscope?
I don't honestly like.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
No, I don't really. All right, stop. I don't really use it that much yet because okay, so the thing that annoys me are the people I follow are like they have too much of an audience. So every time I get on, there's too many people in it, so I can't watch.
Okay, that's
That's the biggest bug they need to fix. They need to fix that bug. Yeah. I'm sure they're probably working on it, but that's super annoying.
You mean like you can't log in because there's too many people watching at one time?
It's too full. They'll say it's too full right now. So the other day, I actually luckily got in Tim Ferriss. Every time he comes on, and literally it's with seconds. Like Tim Ferriss is gonna answer questions. I'm like, boom, go on it. Too full right now, and you just see those little like diagonal lines going back and forth. That bothers me.
Right.
I hate that.
I wonder the people that get in. I mean, I'm sure that I'm responding almost as quickly as they are. How does?
I don't. Maybe there's a trick. Maybe if you like start hearting right away, it kind of saves your spot or something. Maybe there's like a.
It's like calling to a radio. You're like, no, I was caller 9.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
But yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Next question, and I don't have much there. Like really, the only thing that bothers me, and this is just, I just, picking a random channel, and there's just people literally just like doing crazy stuff, and it has nothing to do with anything, and it's like. Whatever, but yeah, as far as the business people watch, I haven't really had anything that annoys me. But at least the next question, which I do have an example, and I'll answer it as well, is like, what's the opposite? What is something that really cool or an inventive way, like the idea of Jay talked about with the real estate agent that you've seen? And for me, it was in the very beginning. Kimmer recommended watch this one, whatever, and it was a super long one. I didn't watch all of it. It was like 3 hours or whatever, but it was an LA artist who had it set up, and she was painting. And so she had music going in the background. She was painting the whole time. And the reason I loved it is because even though I'm not the right target for that, it was so cool just to see her doing her thing, and she was really good, and to watch her paint. And then people were asking questions, and so, every so often she'd respond to some of the questions when she needed a little break for, whatever. And then the genius side of it is, like, how easy is it going to be for her to sell that painting now? As people are watching her do it, I guarantee you she's going to have like 5 people are fighting over like who wants to buy it, because they just got to watch her like Friday night, like, oh, I'm painting tonight, and like you just spent your Friday evening watching her, like your new favorite artist painting this picture, and then boom, now it's for sale, and you're like, yes please, I want that. That'd go perfect in my office or my living room. So to me, that's been so far like my favorite example. I've seen someone just doing Periscope amazingly well.
Is that Oleander or something to that? What's her name? Do you remember what her name is?
I don't remember now.
Oleander or something like that.
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah, she was the second person I ever watched on Periscope.
Yeah, she was the second person I watched.
I thought you told me about that when I was driving from Santa Monica up to Portland. Mm-hmm. I had posted a couple times like, oh, I'm gonna document my journey on Periscope. But the problem is when I got into the mountains, I had no service.
Yeah.
And I was gonna show people Big Sur. And like the ocean. And there was one part where I actually did. I was in Cambria, and I just sat in the ocean, pointed my camera out, and just had the waves going. And people were actually like chiming in on that, And then I flipped it over and took video and put it up on Instagram. I got like a ton of likes. So it's like, and I did it with a I know the waterfall's Instagram. But when you put yourself in a situation where people can't be, I think that's also very amazing. Like if someone. Yeah. If possible, if someone's climbing a mountain and can like Periscope live there, I think that, I'm sure the feed will be probably awful, but that's where people want to be. So if you are somewhere that people like, right now I'm in Portland, I'm sure there's a ton of people who love Portland. I could go on in Periscope and say, hey guys, like, where do you want me to go? I'll go there today, and I'll walk around. Like, I'll go to Powell's Books, or I'll go up to Mount Hood, or I'll go up to McNullen. I can't say it. The falls. There's so many waterfalls. But you can, like Jay said, you can be that tool that goes and do things, but you also have to have your balance,
Right. Absolutely. Totally. If I had service, I would go out to Sunset Beach and do a sunset, once on the best sunset of the month type of a thing. Just go out there and just scope the entire thing, for 15, 20 minutes as the sun comes down. So but again, there's no service. That's one of the biggest issues.
I told there's a guy I stay with. I do a lot of Airbnb while I'm on the road, and there's a couple I stayed with a couple weeks ago, and he was a guitar player, and I said to him, I was like, what do you want to do as a career? Because he worked as a guitar lesson teacher, and he was also worked at a coffee place. Did I freeze there?
No.
Okay, so my whole screen keeps freezing. So he was like, I would love to be doing guitar lessons. And my whole thing is every time I go anywhere and talk to anyone, I ask them what they want to do, and I'm like, do that. This is how you do it. I just start giving them just like feedback, and they're like, what the hell is this guy's problem? And I started getting them to think, just because I think that anyone could just do what they want. So I started telling them, I was like, there's this thing called Periscope. Why don't you just pull it out? I go, how often do you play guitar? Like 3 times a week? He's like, oh, more than that. I go, just pull it out and just Periscope yourself playing guitar. And throw hashtag Portland, hashtag guitar, hashtag guitar teacher, and just play guitar and write songs. And then sometimes be like, hey guys, I'm going to teach you an A progression. I'm going to teach you a C progression. I'm going to teach you a minor scale. I'm going to teach you a major scale. And just do that. And I was like, and then your call to action there, it's like, yeah, I'm in Portland. I do this. Or if you have any questions, ask me. And he could just be fiddling around. He was like, holy crap, man, that's awesome. And I think that it's a free, cheap way for small businesses to just do that one thing. And I think he could be huge and just make like a shit ton of money doing that.
Yeah, that's a really good segue, because what I did was, even though I've only had like 4 or 5 scopes, I spent my time observing, testing my observations, and then I created a 7-step process called how to make money using Periscope.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for everybody. You got to have certain criteria, but I know for a fact that those that meet that criteria, if they get this PDF, it'll work for them. So,
yeah.
Same idea. Awesome.
Cool. Anything else on that? Because I have a question that I want to ask, and this one's kind of for myself actually. I'm something that's actually held me back and stopped me from getting too more involved, and I need to overcome to get back into Periscope. But before I do that,
I see to get water, so I'm sorry. I'm just gonna be okay for a second.
No problem. Sarah, so let's just leave Sarah. Did you want to say anything about like the best or an impressive or something scope that you saw? If not, I'll jump to the question.
No, I mainly stick to business ones and people I kind of know. But my friend, she did use it she does like hand lettering kind of stuff with fancy pens, and she did some on there, and it was awesome to see. They were really short, but it was one of those things that, like, I'm a bit like you when you watched Amanda Oleander. Like, I was just like, oh, it's so cool to actually see someone create something in front of my eyes. Like, there's nothing like it. Same as when you watch someone write a song in front of your eyes. So, but yeah, that I would probably say similar thing. I haven't seen much different yet.
Okay. So my question that I want to get to, and I'm sure a lot of people are probably thinking this as well, is, Sarah, I know you are, because I follow you and I see your stuff, and even when I don't watch all your stuff, I'm able to, I don't really watch them live because of the time difference, but I can do replays, and then I'll always get the notification so I can see, because you're very descriptive of what you're talking about, so I know what you're scoping about. You are very focused on your stuff, what you do. Do you need to do that? Do you need to be super specific? Like, okay, so I'll give an example. So for Biz Dev Heroes, I obviously we got the Entrepreneur Roundtable, and it's a lot of business advice and that kind of stuff, and that's like the primary thing. But I do a lot of video, and so like even people who follow me know that I use a lot of video, and I like to use sketch comedy type stuff and just creative or goofy video stuff to drive traffic and engagement. And then I have some other interest stuff too. So like, do I need to keep it super specific, or can it be a little more broad? Like I did one where I was editing a commercial for a company, like a funny animated video or sketch video that we recorded, and it's a business video, but then I'm scoping on the process of editing. And I did that once. I've really been wanting to, because I have a group I get together with guys every Thursday. And we record these videos, and we have our own YouTube show that we're creating, like a business coaching type fun kind of show, and then we do some client work, and it's all business related. So I thought, hey, that'd be really cool, because when we sit around and we write a script, I would think that would be really cool to watch, because one, it's funny, and we're cracking up laughing, we're coming up with gags, and then we're like, talking about whatever, and then so I was like, that might be interesting, and they're all kind of related around like the Business Heroes idea. But is that too fragmented to sometimes be giving business advice, sometimes it to be like the behind the scenes of how we write our videos? Like, is that too much, or do I need to go, no, just do business advice, or just show like the behind the scenes of how you make your videos for your business? Or I would love feedback on that. I'm sure there's others watching that would be wondering the same thing. Like, I don't want to be that guy playing my harmonica and you going, what the heck, Jared? What the heck?
Yeah, but he said he was giving you business advice first.
Yes. That's the difference. So I think
Right.
do whatever the hell you want. Like if you know that you have a few different let's just call them interests, but they all come under that one umbrella of business. There's no reason why, if you're meeting every day, like, every Tuesday with these guys to write the script, and every Monday you're doing client work, and every Wednesday you're doing Entrepreneur Roundtable. Actually, it's Tuesday for you. And you know what I mean? Like every day there's something that you do. There's no reason why you can't even begin to theme your day so people know when, kind of when and where they need to be and when and where you'll be. And the other thing about that, you said of my scopes that I'm really descriptive, and that's because that actually helps me stay on task. But the other thing is, I love it. Like I like it when Kimra's like, just like late night chat, not going to talk about biz or whatever. I'm like, yeah, so not jumping on there because I value my time, and other people want that and need that. Maybe they're up breastfeeding their babies too, and maybe if I was in that position, I would jump on as well because it's lonely at 2 a.m. when you're breastfeeding, whatever.
I hate that.
But yeah,
I'm the only to talk to.
Well, I guess no one to talk to.
My point is, though, like the beauty of Periscope, the beauty of Periscope is that it pops up, gives you a title, and you can literally go, yeah, not interested or totally interested.
Well, real quick, I'm sorry, Sarah, but like, can't
swipe right or swipe left?
No, no, like with the Periscopes, they record them though. You can watch them later on. So what if you do miss it? You can watch it though.
Yes.
Up to 24 hours.
Yeah, but I think, huh? Is that? Did you say so? Huh?
It deletes.
Oh. Are you saying? But you're saying
they're served within after 24 hours. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you can watch it for that long. But Jared, you're kind of asking. You're like, do I just be really specific? And my answer is do whatever you want. Like what Mike said, do whatever the hell you want.
She doesn't care,
just
Jared.
Make it your own.
Mike always says that. Just do what you want. Figure it out. Whatever makes you feel good. Don't listen to their rules.
Just sell all your stuff and travel the country. Everyone should do that.
Sounds good to me, man.
You might find actually that your following kind of grows quite big because in some ways it's niche to business, which is still huge, as you know, but there's like lots of different topics. So someone might follow you for the video editing, someone might follow you for the goofy laughs and the script writing, someone might follow you for the biz tips, someone might follow you for this, but they don't watch everything. I don't watch the people I love. I don't watch everything on. If I'm like, it's
right.
It's all about keeping top of mind. That's the point. You're not gonna. It's like, do you literally read every blog post and watch every video? No, they just do it enough where when you stay consistent, you're top of mind. So when it finally hits and you do need that, you're like, oh, boom, then that's it.
Yeah.
And that's the point of it all.
The only blog I read everything they put out is Paleo Riot. That's the only one that's worth reading every single.
It is the only thing anyone should read ever. So you should go. Nice. I wish I had like a sign-up thing that I used to have this sign-up form where people could get emails every time I put a post, but now it doesn't do that. So I just collect emails that I don't do shit with. So.
Oh, we're friends. I do the same.
Isn't that called RSS?
Is that how I could? Oh, I mean, yeah. I just never thought about.
Dude,
that's old school. I mean,
don't do a plugin. Spend 20 minutes to write a new email and send the link to it. Do it. Like if you want a good example of that, go sign up for Neville Medora. He does that amazingly, where he'll take 15, 20 minutes, a half hour at most, to write a quick little 150-word. Hey, I just got you interested. So to hear about this, go over here. And I click through on probably, I don't know, a good 70% of his emails I get from him, and I don't click through that much on everyone else. So.
Yeah.
But back to Periscope. We are at 2 o'clock. We're actually a little over, and I want to give you guys time to kind of plug yourselves. So anything else you guys want to say about that? Mike, if you have any other questions, if anyone in the audience, this is your last chance to throw a question in, or if either of you two want just one more thing you want to just say about Periscope before we move on to the wrap-up page.
Actually, I do have a question, and I'm going to save it, but if you want to see it, go to the Entrepreneur Roundtable, and I'm going to post it there, and I'd love to get feedback about Periscope from you guys. But it'll be there. So if anyone wants to see the question, they got to go to the group. And then
Are you a marketer or something? What?
That's my fucking plug, Jared. Someone's got to do it at 2 hours and 10 minutes into this thing. That's our plug. All right.
1 hour, by the way.
What? It's 2 o'clock. Right. It's not 2.
Yeah.
It's like Saturday in Australia right now, so I don't even know where I am.
It's 2 hours somewhere.
Yeah.
And this is that part of the show we talked about. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
Maybe the sound effects.
Yeah, I do want to mention something, because I mentioned that the app Yevo that came out, I don't know, well over a year ago, I think. And the problem is that it didn't have the functionality. So why I'm pro Periscope is a few different reasons, but it's the functions that they put in this specific app. I haven't even looked at Meerkat, haven't touched it, haven't downloaded it, haven't opened it, and because when I saw Periscope, the reason why I was attracted to it as a marketer is 2 reasons. You could save them and then upload them to some other platform later, and you could also make them restricted and private. So you could control, is it all my audience? Is it partial audience? Can they see it now? Can they see it later? Can they do both? It's like the mix of every possible best angle from my perspective. So that's why I'm pro Periscope.
Wait, that you can
all these options.
You could do all that stuff in Periscope? Wow, we really didn't even crack the surface.
Yeah, go to your settings.
That's in your document.
Isn't that in your download, Jay?
Document.
Okay, so Jay, you have a download that describes all that and how you can make money. So that's in there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that download? Is that something they need to go to your group, or is that something you could post in the entrepreneurs group they could get, or how do you feel about that?
Let's just hold off until the very end with the whole
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Damn.
You know, I love that it just works, because I used to do back in like the late 2009, 2010. I had something I was doing online stuff, and I had Ustream, and I could never get it to work on my phone, and I could only get it to work most of the time on my computer. And so, yeah, that was frustrating. I eventually just gave up, and I started doing things and then posting them on YouTube later. If Periscope was around back when I was doing that, oh my gosh, my life would have been so much easier.
Right. Well, think about what's going to happen if Google gets bandwidth everywhere. Think about that. I mean, what was the other phone app? It was like 3 letters. It was green. I can't think of the. It was like 2010, 2011. It was exactly the same thing in a sense. It just didn't work.
Wave?
No, it wasn't
Google Wave.
It was the Ustream competitor, right? There was another one.
Yeah,
There was 2.
yeah.
Just like there's Periscope and Meerkat now, it was Ustream and something else back then.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Any wrapping up topics or anything, Sarah? You want to just, one more thing to throw in?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on that idea that you talked about before, the person that you follow, that when he makes friends with someone, he sends them a video on Facebook. I actually got someone who did that for me when I first saw it, and she sends me audio when she wants to talk to me about something, and you only get 30 seconds, but it's awesome. And I just want to extend that to Twitter. So what I've started doing the last few weeks, and I got this from my friend Nathan. He has a business called Australia Wow, so if you want to look him up, he is insane. He's a growth hacker, but he was like, when you find someone with a problem that you can fix, or if someone follows you or whatever, send them a reply via video. And so I just started, everyone who started following me, I'd look them up and make sure, that they were actually sending tweets and responding to people, that it wasn't just an automated feed. And I would send them a video to respond to them. And I've had amazing feedback, amazing connection. And the beauty of it is, and it goes back to Periscope too, the beauty of it is someone can see that you're a human and that you're real, and that it's not just something else that you're on. People know that they can reach me on Twitter far beyond any other social media platform. And that's the thing with Periscope as well, which is, I think, is why people love it. They know that the person on the other end is raw, live, unedited, and they will respond to you, even if they're on the other side of the world. So I just wanted to kind of put my 2 cents in there. Start using video replies and everything. I know it's not Periscope, but especially if you're afraid of using Periscope, it will help build your confidence just being in front of the camera, and you stop caring what you look like. You stop caring about having a perfect smile every time you say something and never blinking because you think that that's how people look on camera when it's actually not. So I just wanted to throw that out there for anybody who said, thank you. I'd like to thank my mom and dad, but that's just what I wanted to say on that.
That's good.
Stop periscoping, Jared.
All right. Let's move into the. Sorry, that was funny. Let's move into our wrap up where we can give you guys just a minute to kind of promote yourself. So why don't Jay go ahead? Why don't you start off with that and tell us what you do and how we can follow you and what can we buy from you and what's your favorite color? I don't know. Whatever you want to tell us.
Yeah. So jnogle.com. It's a very, very simple WordPress site. It's just the 2015 theme, nothing fancy. But there's stuff in there. There's some good stuff in there. jnogle.com/the Periscope project if you want to know more about it. And there's some links in there to join my group. And I'm in the process of creating some sort of an offer. So I guess, for anybody in the audience or part of the Entrepreneurs Roundtable group, if you're not scoping and you want some time to figure it out with somebody as to how to figure out your thing and how to do it, and maybe with my Make Money Using Periscope doc attached, I don't know, I'll throw out an offer and do a combo of an hour's worth of time on the phone and that document combined.
So like when you help that real estate agent, because that's gold right there. That's worth a lot of money for if I'm a real estate agent and I don't know about Periscope. I just paid to sit down with you, and now you literally just gave me like probably my new #1 marketing thing. Like I'm gonna be periscoping. I'm gonna be talking about real estate. I'm gonna be going through the homes. Everything you said, like that's golden. So like if someone's watching this and they go, I want that too. Like I want that clear epiphany for my business. They can set up a call with you and you can help them figure theirs out like that.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, today only. How's that for call to action?
I'm busy today, man. All right, how about you, Sarah? What are you up to?
I'm up to a lot. Now you can find me on themoreacademy.com, which is obviously where my name is. Is that pointing to the right place?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And I do digital strategy sessions, but feel free to come and watch me on Periscope at @the_Sarah_more and ask me questions, and I give tons of value away. I've done website audits. I've been doing these things called secret scopes. Actually, well, I've only done one so far. And if you see me do a secret scope, jump on, because it always means that I'm going to give you my time for free specifically, or I choose people where I might do a website audit, or well, that's the only one I've done so far, but I have some other ideas in mind about how I can help other people. So come and follow me, and yeah, fun times ahead.
So if I booked you for one-on-one social, I don't remember what you said now, the word you used, but the one-on-one
Digital
time.
strategy.
Digital strategy. What do I get for that if I set up that with you? Bad English, but.
So do I need to pull up my website so I know what I give? No, so I give you back an actionable digital strategy afterwards. Any resources that I have recommended in the conversation, and in that digital strategy will be basically your next steps to moving forward in your business. I have a whole bunch of other stuff that's included, but you can find it on my Work With Me page. 60 minutes of my time basically to get you unstuck and moving forward and not overwhelmed, because I know how overwhelming the internet is for your business. So
it's quite vast.
It is quite vast.
Yeah, it's mostly cats though, so it's pretty easy to find the other stuff, right?
I love when people will ask me if I heard of this app, and I'm like, Jesus, how many apps? They're like, oh, it's the best thing ever. Like, I thought Uber was it. Then it's like, oh, there's Lyft and there's Periscope. Like, Jesus. It's quite a few things.
Hey,
Yeah.
just on functionality as well. So Meerkat has this cool functionality called Cameo, where you can, like, if I was on Periscope with you, Mike, because you're the one next to me on my screen, I could literally pass it over to you, and it would go from, like, if we were on Periscope, it would go from my Periscope to your Periscope kind of thing. But it's just on Meerkat. And Meerkat can also embed into your website, I believe. And so it does have some cool functionality that Periscope doesn't yet have. So hopefully Periscope up their game and start doing some stuff like that, because that's game-changing for businesses and interviewing and things like that.
Apparently, Sarah is a mole for Meerkat, and this was her call to action to sell Meerkat. Good timing.
No. I've never used Meerkat.
I'm glad you said that, because when you were talking about your secret scopes, I was thinking that. I go, oh man, that'd be so cool if, like, okay, so I jump on, right? And you're like, oh, Jared, secret scope. What do you want to talk about? And it'd be great if, like, you could allow them to come on, you know. And so I was thinking that in my head, like, oh, that'd be such a cool feature. And then when you said that Meerkat does that, I'm like, that's awesome, because you can literally do not just like, oh, my website's, you know, bizdevheroes.com. You have to pull it up. They can come on and go, hey, so here's what I'm struggling with, or here's what I want advice. That's really cool. And I hope Periscope adds that. I keep looking at my phone every time I say Periscope. I hope Periscope adds that, because that would be awesome.
It would be
Can
awesome.
I ask you guys a question before we go?
Sure.
Yeah, go for it.
So the one thing I'm waiting on with pins and needles, and maybe it's just the wrong perspective, but from my video production background and marketing background, I don't know why for the life of me they put that thing out there and they did it vertical instead of horizontal. It's like, come on, man, get with the times. This is widescreen, baby. Quit wasting real estate. So
they want to make it mom and dad friendly.
I was yelling at my phone the first time Kimra did it. Like, she announced in her group, I'd never heard of Periscope. She's like, hey, I'm jumping on Periscope, this new thing. I'm checking it. I'm trying it out. Come check it out. And she had it up the whole time. And I'm like, Kimra, I was like, what are you doing? It's like, I thought you were like, you know this stuff. Like, why are you doing this? Like, you're driving me insane. So then I got on Periscope and I did my first one sideways, like a complete.
I did too.
And so I'm like, I'm not going to make that dumb mistake. I'm going to do this professional, you know? And so I did it, and I go to watch the replay, and it's sideways. I'm like, what the heck? Why is it sideways? I learned my lesson.
Yeah.
That's almost like widescreen with Instagram. You only get that little box that you can do on Instagram. That drives me nuts.
Sarah, what do you think? Do you like the vertical as far as, or over the horizontal, or what do you think?
I like it because people are less inclined to preserve their scopes, and I really like the scarcity of a Periscope. I like that it's only around for 40 hours. I know we can 40 hours, 24 hours. I know that you can auto-save them, but I don't, because my phone's always full. And so it forces me to have true scarcity on what I say and what I put out there. But also, it's so raw and unedited and unpolished that I don't want to save them. I don't want to see myself without makeup like
at 6
a
a.m.
month ago. Yeah, I don't want to. Hey, I've got makeup on. No, I don't want to go back and watch that again, because that was old. A lot of the time you're interacting, that moment's passed, and I feel like with true scarcity, there's like this thing about respecting the moment and being in the moment, and it causes people to jump on live with you, or at least catch a replay, because you're not saving them and you're not banking them up somewhere else. Because why the hell would I put Periscope on my phone then? Because you're just putting it on YouTube. So that's my own personal opinion, though, and I mean no offense by it to anyone who does it.
More than once, I've been on, like, sitting on my couch at like 2 a.m. going, I want to go to bed, but I got 3 more I have to watch before they're going to be deleted in 1 hour. I got to watch these before I go to bed, because I don't want to miss these based off of what the topic's going to be. So yeah, I hear you with that.
Yeah.
Just FYI, I don't know what it is off the top of my head. I'll research it and then get you the link, Jared, so you can put it in the notes. But there is a third-party platform app that will scrape the comments and the hearts and allow you to embed them in a post video edit.
Yeah, but then we lose the awesomeness of how easy and simple it is. So, and I've heard this go back and way. I've heard Cameron and other people talk about it. So, but yeah, that's awesome. We can share that if someone is interested, because that was my mindset when I first started. Oh, if I'm going to spend the time to do these, and I want to use them and put them on YouTube, and I even did a video about how to like fix the fact that it's the like you could add like your low branding and stuff on the side. I sent it to Cameron, and she's like, yeah, it's a great idea. That's just too much work, and I don't care. And I was like, yeah, you win. Okay.
Right. It defeats the function.
Yeah. Okay, so anything else before we wrap up, or any last comments, last words? We're just over about a half hour over, which is fine. I actually set the time on this for 2 hours, so no one's like, we're not disrespecting anyone's time for this particular episode. But any last words?
Just the fact that am I the only one who sees this? Like, you don't have a video of yourself now? Oh, there you are. God, maybe my connection's just complete crap here. I don't know.
And mine's not very good either. So like I said, I'm up in the mountains, so it may have cut out for a minute.
Here we go.
Okay.
You're back.
We have 2 bad connections, and that's equaling no video of Jared. So.
Well, then we're dealing with Australia here, so they're like the worst.
Yeah.
So there's 3.
Pretty much.
My favorite thing about Australia, people from Australia, you guys say heaps. Like, Daniel does that in our group. He's always like, oh, man, it's got, like, heaps of information. that was my accent. Now I'm going to go Seth.
That's awesome.
Heaps of information. That's such a weird thing to pick up on.
It's like people from Boston that say wicked.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Boston? I thought that was from the 90s. I didn't realize it was from Boston. Okay.
It's Boston, Jared.
Okay, Boston.
We say on fleek.
That I haven't.
We don't really. No,
listen to
American.
Daniel.
It's
Listen
a
to Daniel
American
talk. Daniel even types it. Daniel's like, I got heaps of this and heaps of that.
Is this before or after he's becoming the crocodile hunter?
And he pulls out his knife.
Yeah, I had a coworker who we were working on a project together who was Australian, and she would ask me a question.
I don't know about that one.
And sometimes I didn't understand her, and I remember a couple times I thought like she was like, like, oh, whatever. I was like, what do you mean? Something about a trip or something. I was like, what do you mean? Like, I'm at home. I'm not on a trip. What are you talking about? How's the whatever or whatever? And then she's like, oh, no, I'm sorry. It's an Australian expression. And I was like, yeah, I didn't pick up on that at all.
Doesn't that mean, like...
So she would say things I didn't understand what she was trying to ask me.
Oh, Australia. You and your internet.
If you don't understand a word, you can just assume that it's a shortened word of something longer. Like Aussie, Australian, that kind of thing. We shorten everything.
Like in America, we have Ebonics, where we decide we're not going to spend the time to spell things right. So you guys do the same thing with actually saying them. It makes sense. I see.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Okay. All right. I think that's it. Really quick, right before I hit.
What is that?
It's an airplane. It's an airplane. It's taking off. We lost it. We missed it. I get it. Okay. Really quick. Pause on the sound effects for a second. I want to thank both of you guys for coming on here. Like I said, Sarah, I know it was early for you. You got up around 5. I really appreciate it. Thank you both, Sarah and Jay. And for you guys watching, both of them are in. If you have any questions for them, of course, the tweeting and all that kind of stuff. But they are both in the Entrepreneurs Roundtable group. So go ahead and search Entrepreneurs Roundtable, join that group, and you'll get to interact with them and see the stuff they're posting and just stuff all the time. Jay and Sarah are both posting stuff. In fact, Sarah just wrote this really awesome. It was almost like a mini blog article, but you just wrote it in the comments. And I just watched like the comments just grow. And people were like, that was exactly what I needed. And some people had some questions. And I was sitting there going like, I should almost probably ask her if I could repost this as like a guest blog on my website. This is good. So you definitely want to get involved in that group.
Sorry, Jay.
I saved it to read later. But I just want to say one thing. I am so glad you guys started that group. I mean, because I stumbled onto it by total mistake, and I'm like, hey, this is all the monthly 1K rock stars. It's like, I want to be a part of this.
That's kind of our reputation, and I hope it's okay to say that, because it was kind of, I've been told that by a few people. Are like, hey, this Entrepreneur Roundtable is kind of like what the Entrepreneur Group was when it first started, and it's like, I've had a couple people tell me, you know what, it was like really cool, and then all of a sudden like all these people left, and then I was like, where'd they go? And then I found Entrepreneurs Roundtable, and it's like, hey, here they are. This is where they are, and that the environment is really collaborative. And that like that's not me. Like you guys are awesome. Like I do my best to help with like we have a few spammers and to get conversations going here and there with some guidelines, but like it's just awesome because of the members who come in. And that's why it's grown. Like I started and I added like 30 people. I know it's probably not, the best. I didn't invite. I just added some people. I was like, you need to be in here, as an experiment, not knowing if what would happen. And then it's like a month later or whatever. Like we're over 100 people. It's really awesome. And I want to thank everyone, like everyone watching this, the people watching live. If you're watching the replay, you guys are awesome because I know me and Mike and Gideon came together with this idea, but that's all it was. You guys have made the Entrepreneurs Roundtable what it is. So thank you back.
I want to say something too. Like the group is really cool because I feel very comfortable there, and it's become a place where like a lot of people hit a wall, and they just throw a question out, and sometimes like it's rare that it doesn't hit with people respond. I mean, at least someone will respond with something. But if you are a person who's watching this, and you're obviously a person, if you're watching this, and if you honestly feel like you want to leave your desk job, or you have left your desk job and you are in the entrepreneur world and you don't have anyone to talk to, like this group is really perfect because it's free. Everyone in it has all of these skills they could just throw at you. Like people come on, if you have a question about video, there's people about video, there's people about email, there's people about social media, there's people about marketing, there's people about sales, there's people about just like inspiration and health.
We got people for offline marketing too. We got several guys who do offline marketing. Yeah,
they're the guys who do like the handwritten notes. I mean, and a lot of people are. I feel, and I feel a lot of people are still kind of like in the shadows, and they're like they haven't jumped in yet. So, in the people in the group watching this, you should really jump in and chime in more because it's really a lot of value. And if you are just watching this, like, just join the group. I mean, it's really cool, and there's no like I feel a lot of other groups it's just like this kind of pissing contest, and I've left groups that way, and I don't dig that, And it's like you feel like you're. You feel like you're subpar, and I feel like this group, and the fact that we're run by the 3 people who don't like that bullshit, we're going to basically keep that out. So, especially me, because I can't stand that shit at all. So, that was my piece, but yeah, you should definitely join.
Yep, okay. I guess that's it. We're done.
Jared, do you want to plug yourself, or?
You can plug yourself. Why don't you plug yourself?
All right. So I'll wait till Sarah's done dying. No, just kidding. So I deal with so I have a blog, it's Paleo Riot, and what I did about 4 months ago is I sold 95% of my stuff, and I'm just traveling the country. And I have a business that does animation, that's drive80.com, but with the Paleo Riot stuff, it's basically just kind of my take on taking your life back and making it work for you. So I talk about health. I interview people about healthy stuff. I'm starting to interview people. I really need to just get more inspiring stories of how people have taken their health back into control, or how they've just taken their lives and made it happen for them. So that's kind of where the blog is molding. So if you actually check out the blog, it's literally in this whole metamorphosis right now where it's like it's kind of finding its way, and I'm trying to figure it out, because that's the one thing I didn't want to do with all the business stuff we talk about, was go into it with like this game plan. I want it to be more organic, so you'll actually watch this organic approach. So it's paleoriot.com, which you could see like Sarah did here, and hers is better, and Sarah's here. Sarah's here. Does this bottom part play on the?
No, it goes black thing? when you're talking.
Ah, shit. Okay.
So it doesn't work. Otherwise, we could do like a little Brady Bunch type thing, but no.
Yeah. But check it out, and it's really raw. It's just about my life, and I really don't hold back. And yeah, take it away, Jared.
All right. So for me, I've mentioned bizdevheroes.com a few times in here. Right now, I guess the main thing that I've really been getting a lot of traction on, people really enjoying, is I have like a free pseudo copywriting / just business communications course, and it's a 4-day video course. Like I said, it's free. If you go to bizdevheroes.com, there's a link on there, I believe. I guess in the group, and it's essentially just it walks you through copywriting, prospecting, like how to listen more than talk and get information. And like I said, I put it up about a month ago. I've had quite a few people, 100 or so people sign up for it, and so that's kind of, I guess, it's like my free offer, what I'm focused on right now. So you can check that out. And of course, I'm getting more active with my blog again. So I got actually this Friday. I got an interview with Mike. Like he has his inspiring stories. I've got my origin stories. Going with the whole hero theme, and so he's gonna have that coming out, so you can check out the site for the blog stuff too. And then Sarah, okay, good, you fixed it. I muted you when you were coughing. I couldn't unmute you, so.
Sorry,
right.
sorry guys.
All right.
It just came over.
Okay, and yeah, so that's my plug. Is just my website, and then check out my free offer, check out the blog or whatever, and see if you like. And I also in 2 weeks I got an article coming up about the time I got in a fight and handicapped a drug dealer. That's down the road. That'll be out in 2 weeks.
Really?
What? That's amazing.
He hit first. 2 hits.
Second.
3 hits. He hit me. I hit him. He hit the ground.
So just to spotlight Jared for a second, this is like the worst segue because that story sounded way cooler than what I'm going to talk about. If we get 300 people to join the group by Sunday, is that it, Jared? You're going to shave your head?
If we get 300 views on one episode within a week, or if we get 300 people in the group by, what did I say? Was it August? I think by the end of August?
The 1st?
Yeah, by the end of August. So we have just over a month.
August.
Okay.
Yeah, end of August.
Quality followers. Quality. We want quality people going in there.
Yeah.
Not meaning like that. Meaning like if you don't just join because you want to see his shave his head. Like be an entrepreneur and join.
Not Fiverr.
No, don't go like, okay, I'm gonna put $15 in Fiverr and get like, oh, we have 1,500 members. It's like that'll be a pain for me to have to go through and actually not approve this. But yeah, I'll do a video and I'll now that I'll Periscope it too. I'll do a thing of.
Oh.
Now I will qualify when I say shave my head. I don't mean razor with the butt clippers, but with no guard. So perfect. I mean, if I'm like this, I'm gonna look like I shaved my head. If I put my head right, you can obviously. I'm not saying shaving cream because no one wants to see that. Okay. But I will just clippers, no buzzer, go through, and I will be essentially bald. So.
Wow. How about the beard? Does the beard go too?
Yeah, sure. I'll shave that too.
Okay. Keep it.
Right. That's the ex-youth pastor in me right there.
Now,
you guys can do this. I will shave my head.
We're missing our upsale opportunity here. I'll tell you what. At 500 members, the beard goes too. There we go.
Well, that's not. I shave the beard all the time. Honestly, I'll probably shave the beard when I get home. Like I grow it out, I cut it. It's like my beard is like representation practically of my mood. So that's not a big deal.
He's like super pissed right now, so that's his mood.
Hey, you know what? If you guys want, if we hit 500, I'll give you the option instead of shaving it. Maybe I'll dye it, or maybe I'll dye it and then shave the sides and have a mohawk. I don't know. I'll let you guys do. It's if you hit 500, I'll give you guys the option to customize it then instead of just shaving. And my wife isn't here to hear that, but I'll go ahead and commit to that. Now I'll keep it for at least.
Yeah, you really are a youth pastor, aren't you?
Yeah, and I will obviously if I shave it.
That's amazing.
Exactly. If I do something weird, like shave something in the side of my head or dye it something, I'll keep it for at least a week. If it's shaved, obviously it's going to take me. I mean, my hair goes fast, but still, it's gone.
We get 1,000. We'll get them to smoke crack.
And then all of a sudden you see the SWAT team come in behind us. I'm like streaming live.
Yeah.
I think Mike fell down with his own joke.
I just lost my shit.
Okay. All right. Well,
I think we should have.
Oh, we got 1,000.
I think that we should have Mike Periscope the very first time he drinks beer again and has like 3 of them just like within an hour.
And then passes out.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. That'll be in October.
There you go.
All right. And with that, before any wouldn't even know how to smoke crack. I'd have to look up a tutorial on YouTube. So.
I'll show you. Don't worry, I'll show you.
All right. With that,
that's kidding. I won't show you.
We will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for everyone, our guests, everyone watching. Bye.